It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything.
Okay.
I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone, and I saw a picture of shakshuka, and I thought, it sounds really good. Maybe I'm going to learn how to make shakshuka today because I have no plans and I don't have kids and I don't have a husband and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York.
Of course you
I'm
are.
doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend.
Oh.
I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries. So I've got a pretty stacked day.
Of course you do.
I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
I thought it was gonna be really her going shot.
So, why do you guys think that this video went kind of crazy viral, and what's the analysis here?
I mean, it went crazy viral because Matt Walsh tweeted it. Let's be real. That would have just gone into the ethosphere on TikTok, and no one would have talked about it had he not picked that up and tweeted it.
Well, was Matt? I don't know if Matt Walsh was the first.
He
person.
was.
Oh, was
yeah.
he really? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But I guess what's interesting to me is that this woman has actually even said, she gives herself a hard time. She wants to be married. She wants to have children. So I don't think that it's right to demonize her and act like she's going to have a depressing life when she just hasn't found the right person, because clearly she wants those things and she's trying to make herself feel better and other people in that community feel better about not being that far along. Because like you said, you wanted people to settle down with the right person, take their time, figure out if that's the right person. So just because she's 29, you're saying that it's too late for her and she's going to be doing Xanax and drinking wine at night because she hasn't reached that point yet.
I didn't say that. That's not what my tweet said. That's not what my
You
tweet
said the future.
Yeah,
right.
Because she's obviously a narcissist, right? So
why
the
would you
issue first and foremost, let's not pretend this is one video that she made. It's her brand on TikTok. It's her brand on social media. She talks about these are this community known as dinks. We're happy and we're childless. She talks about how great it is to be childless. So she has developed she's a social media influencer that talks about childlessness. So let's not pretend this is one woman making a video who just said, oh, I had a great Saturday. There's absolutely no reason, if you had a great Saturday at 29 years old and you learned to make shakshuka and you slept in at 11 until 11:15 or 10:15, whatever she said, that you need to bring up children. There's absolutely no reason. You just say, here's what I did today. I laid in all day. I did this. I did that. The fact that she has to correlate it to saying, and this somehow makes me better than people that have children, is the problem. She started, she literally goes on to talk about not having children. It wasn't necessary in this video. So it's not like people are just shaming single women on the internet. You could go on right now and talk about what you've done all day, and there's no reason to bring up, but having a child or not. She's actually doing the shaming, and now we're trying to pretend that she's the victim. She's not. She has a brand where she talks about childlessness and she talks about leaning into selfishness and all the things that are amazing about not having children. Again, this is not the first video that she's produced. So the reason why, and if you're a man watching this, don't marry this woman. She's basically telling you she's selfish. She's telling you she's a narcissist. Everything she says is about me, 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 me. Even if you're single, you don't have to make your whole day revolve around you. You don't have to. You can get up in the morning. You can go help others. You can do other things. You can say, now that I have free time as a single woman, I can go dedicate time to the church. I can sing. I can do this. I can help people find God. That particular woman that you just looked at is a selfish bitch, and men should not marry her. That's my personal opinion.
Yes, I wanted to answer your question real quick as to, you said why it went viral. I think it went viral because it's nowadays it's relatable in our day and age. You know what I mean? 22, 23 years old. I don't know how old this girl is, but 29 or whatever. But in my day and age, it's relatable to be haha, we don't got kids.
quote
You're
unquote,
22.
fuck them kids. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm glad you're admitting that.
it's like that.
I'm glad
Like,
you're admitting that.
It's like a term that people use, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just relatable.
honest.
Like, that's why it gets so many views, is what, to answer your question.
I think that's really honest of you to say that.
You wanted to come in? Go
Fuck
ahead.
them kids.
Yeah.
No, I said
I'm
quote
just gonna-
unquote.
I was
That's what
gonna-
they say.
Yeah,
know what
but
I
you're
mean?
admitting that so that she's starting the fight. You're looking
And
at
it's a
people that are
trend,
moms.
that are
Like, I don't when
trending. It's a
when
trend.
I'm with my kids,
Right.
I don't post videos and say F them single chicks with no kids.
Right.
She did the baiting, okay, and we responded. That's it.
I
Right.
don't know.
Like, it's a
The
new
first
trend
thing I was
type
gonna
thing.
say.
Hold on. Let's just let Essie
Yeah.
go ahead. Go
The
ahead.
first thing I noticed about the video was that she was putting people with kids down. It'd be fine if she was just talking about how her day was and wording it differently, but it seemed like almost immediately from the beginning of the video that she was belittling people with kids, which I think is like the part of the problem.
Pixie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think this is like up to interpretation because personally, when I saw that video, my interpretation was like, oh, she's putting herself down because she's saying, like, oh, you know, when I tell myself, why am I not further along in life? You know, it's okay because at least I'm enjoying these things. So I could definitely see, like, depending on how you're looking at it or if you have further context, why you would think she's putting kids down. But when I saw that video by itself, I was thinking, like, people are kind of going a little bit overboard in the sense that she says she's being harsh on herself. She doesn't have children. And these are just the things that have made her happy today. And I don't think that by itself, without additional context, is inherently wrong.
Yeah, I saw the video. Well, the TikTok clip. I guess in a way you can see that she was kind of making a little bit, oh, thank God I don't have any children, because if I did have children, I wouldn't have time to be doing these things. And if I had, if I was married and have a husband and a children, I wouldn't be going to, Beyonce's concert or whatever it is that she was doing. Yeah, I think, you could kind of see how she was trying to, a little bit of, kind of want to rub it in. I mean, if you did all that stuff, who cares? Why did you put it on the internet? I mean, why did you have to put it on social media? Because if you put it on social media, this kind of stuff happens. That's to tell you that there's an agenda there, that she was trying to make herself feel better for not having children. And I think it's all cool, because who the hell comes on social media and say, these are the list of things I did in my day, and I just want people to know it, and thank God I didn't have children. It's all cope. It looked like cope. If I'm gonna be honest, it sounded like cope. But anyway, yeah, let's keep going.
Having done this, continuing to do, has it had any negative impacts on your dating prospects? Does it make it harder to date? Has it been maybe non-issue at all? Some guys like it.
I've never had an issue with it dating wise. No one has ever, because I'm very upfront too. First date, if this is what I do, if you don't like it, this is how I make my money.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to pay me the same amount of money I'm making, then I'm not going to stop supporting myself. But yeah, I never really ran into issues. But again, I don't do full pornographic content or anything like that. So it probably is a little bit different for somebody on OnlyFans that does do that type of content. But I personally have never ran into an issue. My boyfriend at first was, I told him and he was like, okay, well, if I'm going to date you, I have to be okay with this. And that was that. And it's never been an issue.
Sorry, I was asking a question. What kind of content do you do on OnlyFans?
Mainly topless content.
Okay.
So-
And you currently have a boyfriend?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Just that's the extent of it.
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Essie?
I've also never had an issue in my dating life. I don't date that often though, but
Right, because you've been single for 6 years.
Yeah.
But it might not necessarily be related to that you're now doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, I also don't do nudes on OnlyFans, so it's just like lingerie content.
Oh, okay.
So I think that
Alright.
also maybe helps because so
Sure.
yeah.
Really?
Okay. Question here for Candace. So, what are your thoughts on OnlyFans, sex work, and do you believe that a woman doing OnlyFans or porn might have an impact on her future romantic prospects? And if so, how and why? I can repeat it. That was a lot, so let me know if you need me to repeat anything.
I talk about this extensively on my show. I mean, the truth is that if you are going to engage in sex work, you are going to...
Having a shed in the garden can be really useful. It might be somewhere to put your garden furniture and tools. put your bikes in there, a workshop, or even somewhere just to get a bit of peace and quiet away from the kids.
Probably make a lot of money, especially if you're young. You're on a very tight rope. As you get older, your value goes down, and men are going to want women that are younger and available to them. I'm talking about in terms of just making the person who will subscribe to your OnlyFans page. You know, obviously, women, you're declining as you age. And the truth is that high value men don't want to date women that are sex workers or even women that aren't sex workers and lean into the whole talking about how sexy and are freely available on the internet for other men to see. What we're talking about is biological proclivity. What men are doing when they first say, this sounds amazing, to date a stripper or to date a prostitute or to date a sex worker, is there's this instinct to have sex. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to have sex all the time. But then when they realize that actually a form of wanting to be in a relationship is feeling that there's a mystery to a woman, that there's something that's yours, there's something that's sacred, there's something that's powerful and beautiful that just you share. And when they realize that they have to share that with other men, it completely diminishes the man. A recent cultural example of that, obviously, is what's happening with Nina Agdal. She's not a sex worker by any means. She just kind of said some sexy things on the internet about wanting cock, and look at what...
Was not expecting that from Candace.
I'm quoting her directly. So this is purely academic. Purely academic. And look at what happened. You know, now Logan has become the laughing stock of other men as they piece together everything that she's ever said that's overtly sexual. And again, she's not a sex worker, but what happened is her value just completely plummeted because, they're this thing that men need to feel. And I don't want to say possession in a way that sounds bad, because it's not bad. It's actually really beautiful. And I'm lucky and fortunate that I get to experience that in my marriage, and it's something that women should strive toward. Women that make those exchanges in their youth, I think that's sad. And I do feel bad for Nina Agdal, is because she said a lot of those statements when she was really young. She's probably your age. And she had a camera and she said it, and it lives forever. And now every man that she dates is going to say Dylan Danis has made her available to everyone. And I hope things work out between her and Logan. But if you don't think that that's going to impact Logan, or that's not actively impacting him as a man, it is. So with women, it's a trade-off. First thing you said was, I make money. This is about money. It's about money. But when it comes down to marrying these women, men just don't want it.
And that's exactly why I said that in this industry, I'm single until I retire.
But it will still matter.
I don't plan on doing this or getting married or finding the love of my life until I retire, truthfully. And then after that,
you see what happens to Nina Agdal.
No. And then after that, I will be honest and truthful with the person that I will be getting married to or whatever. And it'll be up to him to accept that. Right. So,
I'm just saying that men's natural proclivity is to not accept that, because it brings them shame. Men are biologically proud creatures.
I understand, but not everybody can be like.
No, I know. I'm not. I'm just telling you what is happening and why people are just talking about cultural events and the Agdal thing. And if you look at people like Emily Ratajkowski, she's obviously hot. But this is a woman who's now trying to make divorce chic. And I think that the understanding is in Hollywood is, sleep with her and move on. She's not marriage material. Her husband, when he had her, cheated on her because they didn't have that thing. I feel like I've slept with the girl. I've seen her naked so many times, right? So there's nothing special about Sebastian Bear marrying her, because we've all seen her naked. There's nothing sacred in that relationship. And I'm just speaking on telling you, this is why women struggle to get married when they've made themselves available on OnlyFans, because other men don't want to share. They don't want to share their wife. They maybe will share their girlfriend. They might think it's fun to date a stripper for a little bit. They might think, oh, this means I'm going to have sex 12 times a day. But then when it gets down to just their biological instinct, it's actually quite embarrassing for them as a man, because they can look up your girl and here she is, so that's what I think is happening.
Yeah, I'm just curious about your opinion on this, because I've seen a couple of people in Red Pill spaces, Pates or people similar to that, talking about how they should marry a young woman. Would you agree or disagree that might not be the most rational course of action?
To marry a young woman? What do you mean by that?
That I hear a lot of men talk about how a woman inherently loses value as she gets older, and that's why that they should seek out young women.
Well, I live in the South, and a lot of people get married young, and I think it's really beautiful and wonderful. They preserve this sort of innocence. I have people that work for me that want to get married at 22. They drop out of school. So I don't think there's anything wrong with marrying when you're young. I'd have to see the full context of what they're talking about, because I do think, obviously, the longer you wait, and especially in this society that's creating this simulation that sexuality equates to freedom when it doesn't, that what he might be suggesting is that the longer a woman runs free, the more partners that she's gathering, and her worth is being diminished. And I think that there is some veracity to that. But if it's said in a way that sounds a little crass, like seek out younger women because they're not as used, and I can see why people would be offended by it, but that might be underpinned by a little bit of logic. So I'd have to see the clip in its entirety.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is because in general, I think men do have a biological proclivity. I can't pronounce that word. Proclivity. To seek out like youth and beauty. But I also think when it comes to like settle down, you want a mother who's going to be responsible and good towards her children. So I think the idea that like men seek out beauty is true, but I also think men seek out a level of like responsibility and maturity that only comes with age. So I was just curious because of the other stuff I've heard from people.
And also it's like sex is just sex. Like
What?
it's just sex.
Oh.
And
Man, you could have seen their faces, man. Jesus Christ. But everything Candace said was true. Men have been saying this, men have been voicing this. I mean, the thing with sex workers or any kind of girl that does any kind of sexually exploited content, the thing is, men like that. It's like eye candy. We like it, we love it, but we love it for the night, we love it for the week, maybe a month, maybe you're good to have fun with. But when it comes to marriage, now that is a completely different picture. That is a completely different ball game. Now we have to claim you. That is the problem. That is what marriage is. Now we have to claim, because we have to give you our last name and tell the whole world that you are ours. We have to claim you. That's where it starts getting murky. That's where men start getting like, okay, yeah, you're fun and all, you're beautiful and all, but yeah, I'm not gonna put a ring on it, because now I have to publicly claim you. And that is something that most men have an issue with when it comes to any girl that does any kind of sex work. Now, is it most men? Sure. Is it all men? No. You definitely will find a guy, especially if he's liberal or progressive. Yeah, I don't think he will have a problem with it. I don't think he'll have a problem with it, because he's part of the, feminism, sexual liberation. So if he bought into all this liberal stuff, he can't say, okay, I bought into that, I'm a feminist, but I wouldn't marry you. It doesn't make any sense. So he has to by default. Anyway, okay, so yeah, but everything Candace said, it was true. There's this, when you have a woman that every other man or thousands of men have actually seen naked, it doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't feel right. I know that women will try to shame men into saying, yeah, don't be insecure. Yeah, but you can't shame a man out of something that is a biological imperative. Something that has been there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years in our biological makeup. We are possessive. We don't want to share. We don't like sharing. And when you see other men whacking off to the woman you're gonna call your wife, seeing her naked, knows what her titties look like, what her nether regions look like, yeah, that is asking a lot from a man. If I'm gonna be completely honest, that is asking a lot from a man. But I love everything Candace said. I love her take on it. It doesn't apply to all men, of course, but most men will, especially conservative men, will outrightly disqualify you. Even if you just, I don't care what you do on OnlyFans, as soon as they hear OnlyFans, you're disqualified. A conservative man, his wife and OnlyFans can never be in the same sentence. My wife's name and OnlyFans can never, ever, ever be in the same sentence. Anyway, yeah, that's my take on it. If If you like the video, please hit the like button, hit the share button, leave your comments down below. I would love to read them. And if you may, please subscribe. You have a good night.